So I was saying the goal today is to use multi-tenancy services to create vertical solutions. For instance, WordPress.com, Shopify, Content as a Service, which are self-service hosted solutions where a user will go create an account and get a site for themselves. And that's the idea. There are many ways to do that, many options, like do we want to validate the users? Do we want to show a list of sites they can create, a list of themes they can use for the same kind of site? Like what kind of permissions do we want to allow to the user? We'll see what we'll do today. I just want to see to expose the ideas, and then anyone could reuse these examples to do what they need, what they want. So what will we do today? If you have ideas, feel free to share. We can do something like WordPress, like Content as a Service, because we have these recipes. Like a WordPress site is just the blog recipe for us. The question is more, so will be based on recipes. Okay, we'll have to set up a recipe, set up a site with the recipe. Question is, do we let the user choose the recipe? Okay, we'll see. Maybe not, maybe easier. The less we do, the better. Do we need validation for user? Like the user will create an account. Do we need to approve before going on? Again, if we say yes, that's more work. If we say no, that's less work. The question is how much time we have, and is it very important for the purpose of the demo, or at least show some pointers on how to do that and how we could do that. What else? No sound. Yeah, there is sound. There is sound because you can hear my microphone here speaking, okay? And maybe you need to fix your sound. Do we need validation? Do we let the user choose the recipe? So let me start with an example that I know of, fabric.io. So this is a site, a hosted solution where you create your own portfolio site, okay, dynamically, like WordPress, but for portfolio sites. And it's done in .NET Core by Ben Foster. Ben Foster. C#, Ben Foster, C#, I will find him. This guy. And he also made a well-known API in .NET Core, which is SaaSKit. I'm sure we will be able to find it somewhere. Can't find it here, or maybe he's got an organization for that. SaaSKit, yep, he's got an organization. This is a multi-tenancy framework for .NET Core. Oh, he's got a website too. Interesting. So that's why I know about this website, because I've worked with him on that, on multi-tenancy at the beginning of the .NET Core, because of OrchardCore and because what he was doing with SaaSKit. That's it. And so this site, you see, you can create website. These are some examples of sites that have been created on this solution. And you click on Get Started. You choose a theme. In this case, all the sites are the same in terms of content management and features. What you choose is a theme. So this way you will render the content you're managing with different themes. That could make sense in our stuff today, that the user might be able to change the theme based on a specific recipe. So if we have a set of content items, content types, then then you can provide multiple themes to your users. So if you have a blogging platform, we'll set a specific recipe in place with a default theme, for instance, and a blog posts, and archives and queries and custom widgets, and then a theme that will support all these content types. Okay, that's the idea. And then once you choose the theme you want, then it will ask you enter your name, your last name, and probably your email at some point. Let's see, I never tried that. Next, email address. I don't want to register, but you get the idea. Then you enter your email address, and I assume you get a link. Then you click on the link, which will validate your user account. And then at that point, once your account is validated, we can start having a new site. Okay, so that's the idea. Okay. So today, what can we do? What do you want to do? Blog, content as a service? It's less flashy, content as a service. Actually, we should start with the blog because the site will be ready, and then we can always switch to another recipe later if we want. I will not let the user choose the recipe right now. I will just make a vertical application with a dedicated recipe. So otherwise we could expose a screen that will show a list of recipes and a screenshot, and then it will, like we did in here in the previous steps, leave here. You see, oh, what do you want to create? Like a blog, a content as a service, a site for coming soon theme, the agency theme, or something like that. Okay, we could provide different things, but that's just an idea. So do we let the user choose a recipe? I say no. Do we need validation for user? I say for now no, but I want to see how we can change it quickly. Meaning, when some user has created an account, do we need to personally validate the account to approve the account, or is it completely open and anyone can create an account? So I will say no for now. So it will be automatic. So when you register, you get an email, and once so the idea is at least email validation. So when the email is validated, then we can create a site. This is interesting because I think that's what Michael is doing. Michael, tell me. I asked last time, you didn't answer. Should I say Michael or Michael? Michael, I assume. Say one.
Mikey. Mike. Hi.
Repeat that. What did you say?
Mikey. Call me Mikey. Hello.
Michael, thank you. This way I won't do the mistake again. So yeah, because you have been doing that on your coming soon branch. The email validation task. So maybe I want to use that. If we could trigger everything from a workflow, that will make everything so much easy to just say we need user validation or we need email validation, things like this. That would be so much easier. We could make a workflow at the hosting solution. This is his pull request. Okay, thank you. I might copy some code. Okay, that's the goal also, to see what we are missing and to be able to write some code to unblock everyone. Do we let the user choose a recipe? No. So what do we do? We'll make a custom module that will have the code and the pages for the front end to show this experience, the setup experience. So it's like a setup experience, but for new sites. So it's like OrchardCore.Tenants, like tenants management, but on the front end. Okay, with custom UI to create a tenant, which in this case will be about gathering user information and then sending emails or starting a workflow and creating a tenant when the email is validated. Okay, that's actually quite about it. And the user validation could be done in this module too. So we might copy or reuse some code from the users module. So like Orchard tenants, but on the front end, which means so user goes on the front page. User enters his information, email. User receives an email and clicks the link to confirm the email address. We can do it in a second step. We can first try to not validate the email, just create the site directly, and then just to see how it works to set up the site. User enters information, email, then create the site. The site is created. And an email is sent with the URL of the site. Okay. Let's start with that. And the user account. So should we create, so this, how do we manage then the sites? Because every site will be a tenant. So from the default tenant, we can see all the tenants that have been created. And if we want to have user information, like, I don't know, billing information and everything, that might be required in the same module to manage that. Yeah, okay, let's see. So should we create user accounts in the default tenant? Maybe it will be easier to create user accounts in the default tenant. So user receives an email and clicks the link to confirm the email address. User is registered in the default tenant. Okay, it's like the profile, and that's fine. And later we could add profile information to the default tenant for the user. So the user will manage his profile, yes, which means so options. Users could manage their information and profile, and payments in the main tenant. Okay, that's the ID. On the front end. Okay. User receives an email, clicks the links to confirm the email address, user is registered. Everything could be based on a workflow, and the UI could trigger the workflow. It could even be a form that will trigger the workflow. It will be interesting. The idea is that we could configure then how users receive emails, click links, and provide information like payment information. Or the site is created, we could have a task that creates a site. That would be super useful for using that, and configuring when the site is created. Like when the user receives an email, we could already create the sites, and then if the user doesn't validate the email after 10 days, we could delete the site. This way, when the link is confirmed, then we can just go to the site because it will be created already. That will be a way to do that. So let's see if we can use workflows. That will be interesting. Might have to create a task, but that's okay. We have Michael to do that, to help us. Okay, sounds good. Where did I put my, here, window. Good, let's do it. So I will create a branch, create branch. What is create branch? I will call SaaS, software as a service. Okay. This is what I want. Software as a service. I have a branch. I need a module that I will call software as a service. I will integrate it in OrchardCore just because. Why not? Maybe I could do that or integrate it in a web app. No, because every tenant will have this web app then, and this is not what I want. I already want a module. So I want a module that I will put in the modules folder. So to do that, what I do is that I just go in the folder, that contains all the modules. I pick one module, like I will pick tenants, because that's the one that will look the same, and I copy paste it, and I call it SaaS, software as a service. I will delete whatever I don't want. So I delete that. I will change the name of the CS proj, SaaS, and I will start with that. What's inside that? Scripts. I will keep everything and delete what I don't need from Visual Studio. So then from Visual Studio, I just have to add an existing project. I will also delete the app data. If I have some, I have one, okay. I will need a custom recipe that goes with my module here, right? Question is, I assume these recipes, they won't show up in the setup screen because they are not enabled. Or are they? Yes, they will be, because the themes are not enabled either and I can see them. So they will just show up. So I will just pick a recipe from one of the themes. Where are the themes here? Which one do I take? The blank one. I don't want the blank one. I want the SaaS one, actually. SaaS recipe. Interesting. Should I actually change the SaaS recipe? Because it's almost that. So I will copy that, and then we'll see if the new recipe and the new module become the actual SaaS recipe. That might be interesting at some point. This one doesn't have user registration and user creation of tenants, but that might become that at some point. Okay, so let's create a recipes folder. It's called SaaS and it needs a new name. So I will delete this one. No, I don't want to delete all it. I will create a new one, SaaS 2. Software as a service, better software as a service. Blah 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 blah. So admin diagnostic, admin cache. This I don't know. We have it, but not needed. I hope I'm not breaking anything. Localization features. I want to manage features, navigation, recipes, resources, role settings, tenants, themes, users, and our new module, which is SaaS, and I will order it alphabetically to find it later. Theme, the admin and stuff, and my home front-end theme will be the theme. Do I want a theme? Do I want a theme? I don't need one, but I will use one just to have the views look nice by default. Okay, index home theme, and here it's interesting.
I am here.
Who's here? Maybe the microphone. Yeah, Mike, you're here. Did you turn on the microphone on purpose? I think that's a mistake. We'll see. Just unmute yourself if it wasn't a mistake. So index home, the theme, and here I want to use OrchardCore.Saas, and our home page will also be in the home. Oh, I was changing the wrong one. Oh my god. Oh, this is the one I want to change. Yes. And this one. Commit. Where is the one from this one? Reset. Okay, so this one is reverted. This one, what did I say? Yes, I wanted this one, home index in the SaaS one. So controller will have an admin controller, which I will delete. I just want front-end controller. I will call home controller. Okay, and it will have action result, index, a home page, and so I need a view, a home folder, and I need to delete these ones which are from the tenants module, and index will contain just page 1, welcome to the view imports. What we have, this is fine, this is SaaS and SaaS view models, tag helpers, display management, resource management, and then this thing can go away. View models, I don't have any view models right now. Deb root, I don't have any scripts. Admin menu, I don't have any admin menu for now. Manifest, we need a manifest, name module OrchardCore.Saas, and no feature for now. And then permissions, we don't need permissions. README, I can just remove the README for now. Startup will contain nothing. What is this? Shell option, shell settings, content root. Use static file. What is this? I have no idea what it is doing here. Oh, well, I have an idea because maybe I wrote it, but now I realize that tenants file provider. Yes, I completely forgot about this feature. We need to document it. maybe it was documented. It's a way to provide a custom set of static files per tenant in a specific folder. So if under the site/tenant/www root you have files, they will be provided just for this tenant. Yeah, that's interesting. We don't need it here. It's part of the tenants module that I just copy pasted, but I completely forgot about that. So this one doesn't contain anything, but I will keep the startup in case I need it. Manifest updated. So we have the module, good, OrchardSaas. The recipe will enable the module and will make the index in the home controller be the home page when I enable this feature. And I think that's it. We have a module. Let's see if it works. So first, does it compile? It doesn't, because I don't have anything in the view models here. Controller, return view. Okay, and now I just need to add it to the main project because I don't have it in the CMS target so far, so I will add it to the project directly. And it's Orchard.Saas module, which is here. Okay. Oh, I added it in the, that's not where I wanted to add it. I wanted to add it to the web app. If you have questions, don't hesitate, okay? Building should be faster after. This is the first build. Okay, now I will run it and set up the site. Okay, I will call it, I wanted to call it WordPress.com, but that would be bad, so I will call it OrchardPress.com, okay? OrchardPress.com, this is the name of the site, doesn't have to be a domain or anything. I will use the Better Software as a Service recipe. I will be based on SQLite, and I will create an admin account. Welcome to the SaaS module. So that's my home page, and it's using the theme, the default theme. That's fine. So by using a theme, what's happening is that the theming engine kicks in, and what the theming engine does is it's just setting a layout. It's setting the layout for every view. By default, if I don't set one, it will set a layout. And the layout will be one that will render a layout shape from a theme extension. Okay, that's how it works, in case you're wondering how all the magic happens. So for me to not use the theme is just either don't have a default theme and then no layout will be injected, or reset the layout property of the view to some actual layout that I have locally. Okay. So now I want that to be a registration page. So user types their email and we'll send an email to them with a new site. First thing first, okay? That will be the simplest thing. So here I want a form. And we said we could use the workflow module and the forms module. So let's do, should we try that? Or should we can try. If it works, we'll go on with that, if we are not blocked. Otherwise, we'll just do some code. Two solutions, okay? So either in the view, we render a form and we make an action that will respond to the form and send the email using the APIs from the other modules, and then create a tenant using the APIs from the other modules. And then we go on with a standard MVC control action, okay? Standard MVC development, there is nothing special. Or we set up a workflow using the workflow module, and we set up the forms using the forms module. And then there is almost no coding, and the workflow will be about answering the form from the forms module by sending the email, waiting for the email to be answered, and then creating the site using workflow. That might be super complex. I'd say for now, let's do it by code. There won't be any blocker in the workflow module. And if we have time, we'll see how to make it from the workflow. The advantage of the workflow will be that if we make it a module and we enter a recipe and we expose it publicly, people will be able to change it to customize the flow of registering a new site more easily. The inconvenience here is that we'll have to make new tasks that I'm sure don't exist in the workflow right now. For instance, sending the email to the, well, sending email exists, but getting the URL which is protected that will work. Then creating the site doesn't work so far. So we'll see later if we can do that, okay? Questions? So right now we'll do it by code in MVC. That will be easier. Yeah, exactly like, so everything I said right now, this is what Michael is doing on the coming soon template he's working on. The recipe creates a workflow, set up the workflow, and the form also is created by the recipe, so that will be exactly what he did. And it's not easy, so that's why maybe we don't have time to do that now. Let's focus on how to do the thing directly here, custom code. So SaaS, so index will render the form, views. Okay, and we need, so am I using the tag helpers from MVC? Yes, so we need form ASP-action equals index, and then method equals post, but that's the default. We should not have to say it. By using the tag helper, we will have an anti-forgery token automatically. Then here I will do a field set class equals form group, which is necessary for the theme we are using. And then I want an input class equals form control. I don't know which one is it. I don't remember. Someone will tell me. So input, and what I want is input ASP-4 email. So I will need a view model, which will be the index view model. Okay, register user view model. And I will need in the view models register user view model string email. Okay, and in my view imports now I can add the view models line, and this will kick in here. Okay, So what's the deal with the controls? Form control. Good. Good job. That is good, and we need a submit button. And we'll need a label. ASP4, is that a thing? Yeah, probably. And is the value inside, like email? Okay, so let's see what it looks like. It will fail because I don't have my view. So I need to build it. And to restart it. Email, my nice submit button that I don't know how to type. It's a button, so it's not value. How does it work? It's text. What does a button look like? Typing equals submit, it's inside. Okay, we'll use that thing here. T submit. Now F5, I broke everything. Submit. F5, email. That's so easy. Okay, email, nothing special to Orchard so far, just MVC. So email, and I will put my email. Okay. At that point, what we will do, what do we do at that point? Should we ask for a user password? Should we actually go to the registration page and that's it? Yeah. Maybe that should be it. We should just let the user go to the registration, and when the user is registered, then on this page it will be authenticated with a custom role, and then when it comes back, can create a site. Because we need a login password. We need a password. For now, let's say we don't want the user to create an account. We'll just create the site. Let's say we don't need a user account for now. Okay, let's make it simple, and we'll add more information later. Let's say we just get an email and say create a submit, and it will create a site, and the user receives an email with the site URL. That will be good. That will be already nice. Register user view model, and I will add a public string site name. And I will add so in Here, when we create a tenant, we need a prefix. Okay, is there a prefix or a new domain? Here we don't have a domain. We could use a subdomain to localhost and bind it. In a real scenario, we will, in the profile of the user, they will manage their sites and then define which domains to use. Okay, and then the page will also show how the user can map their domain to this website by showing the IP. So here we'll just use the site name and then the site prefix could be also, if we wanted a GUID, something that is completely random, because if there is a domain, we don't care. But in this case, I will ask for a prefix. I will call it a handle. And the site name will be the actual name of the site, the default site, the name of the site. Okay, and then here, email. And then email, we have a site name. And then handle. Okay. And we have it here. It doesn't work. That is fine. And that it looks good too. It's just I need to build. And then when we have that, we'll post the register user view model to the controller, which is here. So public action result index model SMTP post return view. This will return the same view, but actually will return another view. So view success. Okay, and here what we do is we get the view model, we'll create the site. So let's create the site, and that will maybe expose some things that we need to show in a service and not in a module. Let's see. So to create tenants, the setup does it, the tenants module does it. Let's see how the tenants module does it. So when we go in the tenants and we say create tenant, no, it doesn't create. Yeah, it creates a tenant, but it doesn't set it up. And that's the first thing to do. It creates a tenant but doesn't set it up. So this is just to get a secure link. We won't need that because we'll skip the setup process. We'll set up everything for the user. This page, the home page, is actually like the setup screen for the user. So here this is listing the tenants and this is creating a tenant. How much code is that? Well, like nothing. No, this one, create. This one, almost nothing. Shell setting, so it's creating a new shell setting and saving settings in the shell. Okay, and then create. Okay, that's it. So let me show you then. Okay, this is that piece of code that I will use here. And then what API is it using? Orchard host only. That's good. Let's see what code we need. So I copy pasted that. Authorization, we don't need to authorize, anyone can create sites. We don't need to check if this is the default shell because this is the default, this is the module that will handle creating stuff. We don't want to protect it. If model state.is valid, if model state is valid, validate model, we don't care. We'll say everything is valid right now because it's bound to that thing. So if it's valid here, I will create a new shell settings. And then the name of the thing is view model.handle. This will be the name of the tenant will be the same as the prefix. Request URL prefix will be the same thing. We'll need to validate everything at some point, but right now I don't care. I assume everything is good. The host will be nothing. But again, it will be a domain that will be configured later. connection string will be, so we can use a SQLite. So then, yeah, this could be a setting at the module level to say when a tenant is created, what connection string should be used, what table prefix should be used, probably the handle if it's a SQL Server, for instance. What database do you want to use? So this is something that we want to customize in the module. So the module itself, the SaaS module could have some settings in the admin that the user, when he created the recipe, would change to define that new tenants will be created in which database. Okay. Right now, I will just do nothing, no table prefix, and use one SQL database for users. Okay. And I have no idea if the database provider should be SQLite. Let's see. What values? SQLite like this. Okay, so this is good. State, it's initialized when it's created. Secret, this is a private key to generate the tokens. Recipe name will force the recipe name, and again, this should be a setting in the SaaS, so I will write some notes. And this. So that this recipe name will be defined in the settings of the SaaS module so that any new tenant will use this recipe. So here in our case, the recipe name will be the blog, which is named blog. Okay. Shell settings manager, so we need to inject it. We need Orchard host, which is actually now called shell host. Okay, get or create shell context async shell settings. Await, so I need to do async task of action result. And I need to import the system threading task namespace. View success, so the tenant has been created but not set up. So here we have two options, but I said that we will create the site and the email directly, or do we create the site once the email is validated? Let's create the site only when the user clicks on the email. So success. So I need a view. Success. An email was sent to you. Please confirm your account. Please confirm your email. Okay, that will be sufficient. That's okay. And then success. And so we created a site and we need to send an email. Okay, that was the goal. So if that is valid, that return redirect to action index success. Return redirect to action success. Return a view index, and the index could take the information if there is a validation error, we'll redirect to the index 1. We'll pass the same view model. And index already exists, so it will be index post, and it will be action name of index. Okay, this is just so that the same /index endpoint is answered by this method or this method based on post or get. And then here we return to action named success. This one returns to the view. This one will also redirect. It's always good from a post to always redirect to action to a get, and in this case index with the can we pass a model? Oh, we can't, that's why. So in this case, it will be just view and the model, which will be view model. And I need an action success, public action result success. Here we need to do nothing, just return the view, but here we'll send, so why doesn't it work, return to action? It does exist. Okay, and here I want to send an email. To send an email, we need to reference the SMTP abstractions or email abstraction, I don't know, email abstractions. Okay, and we need to enable the feature. Do we need to enable the feature or do we just need to enable the services? We can enable the feature. Yep, so recipe, and we need to enable the feature named email. Okay, and then we need to inject the service to send email, so SMTP service. Okay, and here SMTP service dot send async. It wants a new mail message, bar message equals new mail message with what? With a 2. View model dot email from. This could be a setting also. What do we need? A body? What does it say? A new, I'm sure it wants a new mail address collection. That's weird. New mail address collection. Add that. I also want to receive an email when someone. No, because I will validate their email. That's bad. So I don't want to. Or maybe I want to receive another email. So that var from equals new. No, what does it want here? New mail address. Okay, body 2 equals 2, body equals new, it wants a string, so I will say from our message, however, body equals, and I want click this link, and here we need to inject the link. Okay, and this is URL dot action, URL dot action, and we'll say action is confirm controller equals index, values equals, we'll get the values, so we want new token equals, so right now I will just get the handle. Okay, but we'll need to encrypt that after, otherwise anyone could validate any email with any handle. So token, so I will say handle equals handle, I will say email equals view model dot email. So next step is that this payload will be encrypted in a link. Okay, so that when received on the server side, we can get the value, but it's encrypted. The user can forge it. Index, so confirm in the home link that, and if we want an absolute URL, we need to pass the protocol, which in this case will be request, the same protocol as right now, dot protocol. By passing a protocol to the URL action, we get a fully qualified TLD link with the full address. And click this link, plus link, href equals link, okay, and link needs to be encoded. Encode, how do I encode stuff? HTML.encode, how do you encode stuff from a controller? HTML encoder. I don't have access to the helper. I can inject it, but there is no way to do that. Nobody knows. We will send an email with the link to the tenant setup page that provides a way to create a super user account for that tenant. We talked about it. We'll create a user. Yeah, we need to create a user in the new tenant. The user will have the username of the thing. So yeah, the form should actually have the user login password. And what we said, we could use the information from the registration. I see, but no, we need to create a new user in the tenant. So I'll use the email as the email and the username. Or I can use a password. Okay, we can have a better form to get the password also to create the tenant information. Thank you. what's the issue? Gets. Okay, so you can't assign the two here. You have to do a dot add here. And the same way I will do from the two and the body. Send async message, wait, return name of success. It doesn't want to see my success. What did I make wrong?
Your method has 3C.
Oh, that's why you say 3C. I'm like, why are you saying? So success, and this is written into success to say you received an email because we sent an email. The email will let the user go to the confirm action. So we'll get a confirm action here, which currently takes a string email and a string handle. And what we'll do is we don't really need the email right now, we just need the handle. So we can find the site. So we need to find the site to start the setup. So we'll start the setup on this action and then return the user to the new site. It will be awesome. So to create the site, we need to go to the setup, here that does it in the controller. And I bet the logic will be here and should be actually externalized. So that will be a good way to do that. So controller, setup controller, when the setup controller receives the post action, here it checks the secret and everything. We don't care. Database providers, we don't care. This is just in case it fails. Blah, 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 blah. New setup context. Okay. Is there another way in Orchard we do that? It's just in a setup. It's just in the setup. So what does it do? Setup context, time zone, and blah blah, all the defaults. Is null empty connection string will define if not in no, otherwise. What's the difference? I don't know. Oh, this is if it's preset. Okay. Extension, execution ID, setup service. Yes, that's the issue. That thing is in this module. We need to externalize it. Check if a component in the setup failed. Okay. So that's all good. I need just that piece of code. What we are missing is setup context and setup service. This thing is defined here. So that's not good. And that's not good, but it has default features here for running the setup based on this experience. Okay. I'm wondering if I create a new project or if I just reference this one for now. The issue is that the setup module won't be enabled from my tenant. It's just a transient thing. So I will create it. I will create a new project here. Okay, and I will need add new project. I will need an abstractions one, OrchardCore. I can't call it setup because there is already OrchardCore.Setup. What do I do usually? How did I refactor it? It requires recipes also. So I will call it sites. I will quit sites for now. Okay. It's the net standard. Okay. And I will create another one. OrchardCore.Sites. Okay. I will put the setup here, that and that in the abstractions. And remove this class. I will put the implementation in this one. I will change the setup. So it needs what? It needs recipes, setup events, yes, equal, okay. You need recipes, setup events. What is the setup event here? Oh, maybe the setup event is already in a different. Yes, yes. Where is the setup event thing that I saw? Setup service, setup event. Setup event handler. I setup event handler. Where is that thing? OrchardCore settings. Okay. OrchardCore.Settings. OrchardCore setup abstraction. There is already a setup abstractions. I'm confused. Okay, there is already a setup abstractions. So I don't need that thing. I can put it there. Oh, setup.core, that's what I call them. Okay, so I will remove this one. And I can rename that setup. I will remove the project. Okay. I will go there. src OrchardCore orchard.sites. Oh, I put it in the wrong folder. Site. So sites abstraction I want to remove. Sites I need to remove it too. Hello mouse. Okay, remove. And I want to move it to src core here and call it setup.core. And here setup.core. And Visual Studio will complain. And then add existing project. Where are they? src OrchardCore setup.core. Here. Good. This will depend on the setup abstractions. OK, Visual Studio starts to not like me because of NuGet packages. And I can't do anything while it's doing that. And usually it just crashes by itself. So I will just close it now. Good thing is that if I want to file an issue now in Visual Studio, I can just send them the recording. And they can know exactly what I did. Okay, I will restart Visual Studio. Recover selected, yes. So what did I do? This is the module. I was going in Orchard and it stopped loading the projects midway. Okay, didn't save my solution, so I need to remove that and add it back. Add a reference. To set up abstractions. Okay. This way, this service will find the abstractions iStep service, but it's still missing that. But that should be found automatically. Nope. Shell setting. OrchardCore environment shell abstractions. Recipe harvester. OrchardCore recipe services. Abstractions. iStore is in SQL. So this is a package. This is a package, so I will just copy the reference, which is where? No, it's transitive dependency, so I will add it. I'm not even sure that's it. That's it. Save. Now let's see Visual Studio complaints because I just added a NuGet reference. Oh, looks good. Deferred task context is in deferred task.abstractions. and I set up service. What? I think it's wrong. If I build, so setup abstractions, I set up service, set up services. Let's build this one because it has new classes. Okay, that's why. Because I set up service now requires a recipe descriptor, which is in recipes abstractions. So this one is fine, and the core project is okay. Now I just need to change the setup to use this module. And the startup, which was initializing the service, this thing will now be in the core project here. And I will take an example from this one. I will copy in the setup core here, service collection extensions, OrchardCore.Setup, which will just do that. And this one, namespace. No, the namespace should not be that. What should be the namespace? Oh, that's weird. That's not good. It should be a default namespace. This one is good. This one we don't care. This one is good. Setup service. Now home controller. Okay. Now we are back to square one, and let's see if setup builds still, because we just refactored setup module to externalize the logic it had to execute, to run the setup of a tenant, meaning running the recipe, creating the account and everything. So now what we'll do is setup works, and we externalize the logic so that our SaaS controller in the confirm action can actually do that. So we'll do a reference to setup abstractions. And our module SaaS will also need to register the setup. So it will do services.add setup. And yes, it needs a reference to setup core also. Okay, so we have setup context. Now the site name is the handle. No, it's not the handle. The site name should come from the link also. So home, it will be in a payload later. So where is that? Then here, site name, Enable features, we don't care. Admin user mode, username, admin username. So this is the super user. So right now I'll create a fake user, but we need to change the form to add more information, like what will be the username and everything. So right now I will use admin, and admin email will be the email we have, so we can use email. Admin password, we can use a fake password. We have to know it, and it has to be secure enough. Errors, it's no error for now. Recipe, this is the recipe name, which will be blog. So why did we have to type it earlier? What is that? Oh, this is the presets. So we don't need that. We don't need to add the preset. The same way, this doesn't have to be defined here. So this could just be read from the existing shell settings. You see here, that's the idea. We could read it from the shell settings if we store it in the shell settings. This way we don't have to. So recipe, we can do it blog. So once it's created, then we can change it. That's good. Okay, I like it actually. Recipe name. And then here, we'll just take it from the recipe name. Where is the shell settings? Oh, we need to load the shell settings. So var shell settings equals shell settings manager dot load settings. How is it done in the setup controller? Oh, this is because multi-tenant. Okay, this is because we are already on the tenant with the current shell settings, so we need to load settings. Is there a get settings? Try get settings. Name, this is the handle. Out shell out var shell settings. Handle. If not that, then we can return not found. Okay, and then recipe equals shell settings dot recipe name. Site zone. What does it not want? It wants an actual recipe descriptor. How did we do that in the controller? Recipe is first of our default, tag, default, that's not it. Index, so this is the setup controller. When we confirm the thing, it's index post. Where is it? Setup service, get setup recipes async, and then selected recipe, recipe name, model recipe, first of default, name. Okay, so we need the recipes, which is in the get setup recipes async. So here var recipe equals that. Okay, recipes first. Setup service, we need to inject it. Await, so async. So we have all the recipes here, the setup recipes. Is there another one which is better? No, get setup recipes async. Let's see the implementation. Recipes harvester, so it's looking at all the recipes from the recipes harvester. Yeah, could be better done. Okay, so that and var recipe equals recipes dot where x dot, no, I need link x dot name equals shell settings dot recipe name. Okay, if recipe equals null, return not found. So now we have the recipe. Site where it's first or default. Now we have the recipe. The site time zone will use the local time zone, and it will be able to be, it will be configured in the admin. So the local time zone, we get it. So setup controller, when we initialize the index, how do we get the default time zone? It's not here, so is it in the view? Select time zone, clock.get time zones. This is the list of time zones. How do we get the local time zone? We do clock.get time zone, and clock is what? Clock is iClock.get time zone. So I will inject iClock. There is an error here, which is that. So clock.get time zone. Okay. To string. That's not it. So what was it then? Local time zone, get system time zone. And then we use local time zone like this. We pass it the time zone ID. Okay. So we have a setup context. It knows how to create the site. Then shell settings, connection string, we don't care. Is null or empty, so we need to define that though. So database provider, actually I will take the same lines because this is defined in the site settings, in the shell settings, sorry. So I will do delete database provider equals shell settings database provider, connection strings from the shell settings, that too. I need commas here and here. Okay, and I will ensure that we set it when we create that database provider, table prefix, and connection string. Database provider, connection string, database, table prefix. Same thing. Okay, good. Then that we don't care. That we don't care. That is this one, execution ID, so it's starting the setup. Then if there is any error, okay, we are not displaying them, so that's fine. We can say return error. For now that will be okay. Otherwise, it succeeded. So we need to return the user to the site. So this is that plus handle the tenant prefix. Okay, and that should work. It's done. Setup is done. SaaS. It will fail, obviously, because it can't work the first time we try it, but that's a good start. So we need SMTP for dev. I don't have it on that machine, I assume. Let me check. I have it on that machine. Okay, where is that? SMTP. How do I start it? So many years, I don't even know where the exe is. Oh my god. SMTP maybe? This one. So I'm starting it just to receive the email. Okay. So this is a web app. I hope they made it better in the meantime because it's really not useful. Okay, this is the emails and this is how we need to configure it. Settings. Nope. I don't know how to configure it. How do we configure it? Okay, let's start our app. So we have a site. Control F5. I should have debugged it actually, in case it fails, to see where it fails. Okay, doesn't work. SMTP service was attempted to activate home controller, so it doesn't find this SMTP service, which means because when we set up the site, we didn't say that we wanted the SMTP module, the email module. So what we need to do is reset up it. That's the idea. So I will go delete the app data and start a new setup. Because we changed the recipe to say that, oh crap, I need to stop the current site. Is there anyone still? Oh, my people are still looking at that. Open ID, thank you. Yes, this is an option in the settings. We'll see. If it doesn't work with SMTP for dev, I will look at the folder. Okay, so sometimes IIS doesn't want to start the site, so I just try again and it works. Okay, so it's we called it OrchardPress. Better software as a service, and I will recreate the account. Okay, this is our site. Email, I want to send it to this address. Site name, I will call it Sebastian Ross blog, like this. Handle, Sebastian Ross. Okay. Email is not configured, so first I will configure the email. The email module has been enabled because where is the email setting? Okay, SMTP settings. Sender email address, admin@orchard.com. This is a default one for the task, so this is not the one we are using actually in the service. Delivery method. network, pick up directory from IS, but I don't have IS. Does it work? Network. Hostname, localhost, port 25. I don't think we need anything else. Save. It restarts my site, which means oh, can we test it? Test settings. To foo bar subject bar foo. Send. Message sent successfully. And I get it. I got the message. Something weird though. Why do we have this icon here? Okay. Request failed with status. Start again. That's not good. Well, I hope I can see the email later. I will restart it. I'm scared. I don't want to miss my nice email. Okay. Okay, so the site settings works. So if I go on the home page, I think I need to restart to redo it because I restarted the site, so I might get a new. Let's try. So submit. It's trying to go to this thing. Why? This is good though. Okay, I should have debugged it. So let's try to debug it. In the controller, index post to the name index. Maybe didn't go there. So let's try that. And then let's try when we get the email. Okay, play. Told you it could not work on the first try. Oh, maybe the anti-forgery token. Exactly as I was scared that because the site got restarted in the meantime. Email, site name, handle, submit. Okay, it goes to the post. Yeah, that was it. That was the anti-forgery token. Shell settings. We create a link which will go to. No, that's not protocol. That was scheme, not protocol. I made a mistake. But that's good. That we can try again. Send async, redirect to success. An email was sent to you. Please confirm your email. So I will look at the emails. Here, there is an email sent to SMTP for dev doesn't work. My God, my God. So I can't see the email that was sent. I will copy paste it. That's fine. It sends the email correctly. So I don't need that thing. An email was sent, and I will check that there is a site that was created in app data sites. You see, Sebastianos have been created with the settings that are correct. So now, if I go to the URL that I know of, which is actually confirm, and we'll take the email equals Sebastian. This is not used, so that's fine. And what did we have? Actually, the only important thing was the handle. Okay, this is the only thing that we actually need. And no, the site name. No, site name we don't care. Do I use the site name? I use the site name here, but it should be shell settings.site name. We don't need the site name here. Or do we? Do we? Where is the site name here? Name. So we don't have the site name in the shell settings, so we need that. We need it here. So and site name equals we call it Sebastian, okay, just so that I don't have to encode it. And because we don't use the email in this case, we should use it for validation, but here I don't think we use it. We use it, so we need it. How do you encode at in URL? I assume that will work. Enter. And he goes to error. He didn't go into the breakpoint. Oh, I'm not debugging anymore. Interesting. But there was an error. Ah, that's so sad. Let's look at the logs. What happened? An error when initially in data store, SQLite exception, table document already exists. Ah, okay. I assume I made a mistake with the connection string. I must have used the default tenant connection string. So what should be the connection string when we create a tenant? If I go on default, connection string should be nothing. This should be nothing, nothing, nothing. And so it's about SQLite. I think I know why. We are running the setup from the default tenant, whereas when we use the current default multi-tenancy mode, it's running the setup from the new tenant. So it doesn't work the same way. And I'm not sure I have a solution right now. Setup context. Yes, setup will assume that the current tenant, I'm sure, is. You see shell setting. Yeah, that's the issue. Shell settings. This thing assumes that we are running from the current tenant that we are setting up. But here we are running from the default tenant to set up another tenant. You see, running setup for tenant name, shell settings, which is the default tenant in this case, and that's not what we want. The shell settings here should be taken from another thing. And the create description context async for shell settings, shell descriptor. So this one looks good. Where is it defined? New shell settings. So this is a copy. So let me try to change the service quickly. If it doesn't work, then it's a fail. But so setup async, setup context, and the setup context should have the shell settings. So site name, setup context, site name, site name, site name. So we have the shell settings here. And setup async. Okay, the setup context, I assume in this case, should have the shell settings. And then here, shell settings equals shell settings. And the default setup thing using the setup module. Using the setup module, we'll say shell settings equals shell settings. And when we call into the setup service, setup async, here it's not shell settings, it's context.shell settings everywhere. Oops, one sec. I need to grab my power code. One sec. Back with power and here. So shell setting, I just check where it's used. It might be used nowhere now. Yeah, so this one is text.shell settings.name. Okay, nowhere, so we don't need to inject it anymore. Okay. And then, does it build? It might have broken the default site though, because it's changed the shell settings. We'll see. I will restart it and do that. And default sites, I will delete this one. I hope it's not too late. No, it's not too late. Default settings running, so I didn't break it. So email, this one, site name, Bastian Ross blog, handle, say Bastian Ross, that, submit. F5, I know this part works, an email was sent to you, but I know what the email link is. It's confirmed. I lost it. Site name equals Sebastian, email equals Sebastian@gmail.com, and handle equals Sebastian Ross. Enter. Now there is a breakpoint. F10, F10, F10 recipe, setup with the shell settings, which is the shell setting that was created, hopefully, yes, Sebastian Ross. F10, F11, state, F11, hard-coded, enable features, state, shell settings, don't care, create descriptor, okay, good, create scope, and then it will create a database and everything. It will start during 5 seconds to set up the site and redirect to the good thing. That's beautiful. Okay, that worked. So now let's try with an actual email. Let's see if I can get a new version of SMTP for dev. SMTP for dev. Or does anyone know with the IIS folder how it works, where it will go? Do you think it will be easy if I configure it to go to the IIS folder? I haven't done that for years, so chat, select pickup folder. Good, I'm doing that then. Settings, SMTP. Pickup directory from, that's the issue. Oh, specified pickup directory. Oh, I see. Oh yes, the pickup is to send emails. I'm stupid. So pickup, temp SMTP, save. I will create the folder because I assume it won't be able to create it. New folder SMTP. There's the settings. To foobar subject blah blah blah. Send success SMTP success. It will open it in Outlook. I don't want to open Outlook. My OneNote. Close that. Notepad. Boom. The content is there. Beautiful. Beautiful. So now let's try to go back to the home page of our SaaS solution. And I will send an email to sebross@microsoft.com. It's a fake email. I want a site name Sebastian Ross blog. And the handle will be Sebross. Submit. I will remove the breakpoints. Remove the other breakpoints. And then I should have received an email. I should have received an email which is this one. So let's open it. So this one I can close. I received an email with that link. I will fix the protocol after. That URL. Oh, that's encoded. No? That's encoded, so I should open it. Let's see. Here, if I do, let's say I click on the URL, HTTPS, and I go there, it doesn't find it. Because it's encoded. Equals, I will open Outlook. Let's see if it works. So first protocol. I will fix it. It's request.scheme. Okay, that will be better for next time. Then I will click on that. I will open it with mail. Okay. Oh, I didn't say it was HTML maybe in the email. HTML body, and maybe that's why it's not like this. So if I say here message dot is body HTML equals true, okay, let's kill the, so this I'm keeping. Then I need Orchard 2, SRC, CMS web, app data, sites. I will delete the 2 sites. I will delete the logs to see if there is any more issue. I will restart the site with my fixes. Yes, Control F5. Email, same thing. Doesn't matter actually. One handle Sebastian Ross. If I can spell it correctly, submit. I receive an email in the folder here, and the email is this one. I double click. There's a link. Okay, I'm clicking on the link. It's setting up my site. The name is correct, and this is my site on my handle. That works. Beautiful. That even should work concurrently. I could be one step to deploy it just to let you try. How much work will it be to deploy it? I haven't done that in a long time, and it's been already 2 hours, so it won't be today. But I think mission accomplished. It's not all the options we wanted, but everything is in place. We have new APIs to do that easily. It's not a workflow, but that's fine. Improvement is that the form should have username, password, like the setup screen. We could have the same thing as the setup screen, and yeah, it's almost like the setup screen, but with and without some fields. Like we set the handle at this level, but it could be also the domain. We could have an option to create the domain for the user or to pre-register the domain when it will be ready. And that's about it actually. We could create the user account also with the same username and password. Nah, we don't want to create the same username and password. Or we could ask for 2 accounts, one for the main user that we could create in the main site, and one for the super user in the site that is created. Also, the link should be secured. So when we create the confirmation link with the payload, we should actually create an encrypted payload, SaaS token, to generate it, and then we will have everything encrypted, so nobody can set up the site for someone else. And if we generate passwords also, they will be protected. So that's an improvement to do. Well, that's it. Questions? We'll stop here because 2 hours of demo. Okay. I will commit the changes we made to the setup module because they're super useful, and I'll make a backup of this SaaS module because we might want to expose it for people to redo that and do that better for their own sake, or if we want a module like this already in Orchard with options like in the configuration which recipes are allowed and things like this. We might even want that by default. That would be super useful, I think. Yeah, good then. Okay, 2 hours, that's good. I'm very happy with the result. Thanks everyone. If you don't have any more questions, then see you on Tuesday, and I think I will talk about it. Bye bye.